Okay, here we are, quilt number 2 for 12 and 2024. I have a stack of fat quarters here. I have 2 fat quarter packs. They were Pioneer Woman fat quarter bundles. They came with 6 each. I got them on clearance for $1 a pack. So I got basically 3 yards of fabric for $2. And they're already coordinated for me. How easy is that? So I'm going to start with these fat quarters. I'm going to stack them in piles of 6, and I'm going to start cutting them. This is my own pattern that I made up in my head. This is kind of a tester to see how it's going to work, and I'll bring you along for the ride. Okay, so as is the case with fat quarters a lot, they were cut on the wonky side. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to straighten them out as I go. So I didn't trim them yet. I did line up the salvages here so they're straight on my grid on the table, and I'm just going to trim that salvage off at whatever that inch line is. I'm going to go over 6 inches and I'm going to cut straight down. So this will be, I'll have 6 inch strips, and then I'm going to do the same with the other half. There's 6 here, and I'm going to do the other half in just a minute, and you'll see how this is all going to go together in a little while. Okay, so here's the cuts that I made with this stack. I made a 6-inch strip, I made a 5-inch strip, and then I measured what I had left and I split it. I had 10 inches left, so I made another 6-inch strip and a 4-inch strip. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other stack, but I'm not going to move this one just yet. I'm going to actually cut diagonal like this with the same angle on each set. Wish me luck. So basically, I just took my square, and I'm sure I have a triangle ruler here somewhere, but I don't have time to go look for it. And I lined it up on the center diagonal piece, and then I'm going to cut along there. And then I'm going to move it to the next one and do it there, and the next one and do it there, and the next one and do it there. And they don't have to be the same. They just have to be the same for each stack. So I'm going to do that, and we'll move on. I actually turned it around. My angle's going to be the other way because I'm right-handed, and I need to cut on that side. Okay, so I have done just random cuts. The angles are all the same because when it goes together, I want the angles to be the same. I've just done random cuts. I'm going to take the top one here and put it to the bottom. And then I'm going to stitch these together as they come. Okay, I pressed these all to the dark side. I stacked them up again. I'm not sure if I kept them in the same order or if I didn't. It doesn't really matter. If that fabric lines up down here, that's okay. If something else winds up down here, that's okay too. It's basically a scrap quilt, and anything goes. There's no rules. So my only thing is that I want the angles to be the same. So I lined up on this side again. I lined them all up the best I could. I lined up here with the center of the square, and I'm going to cut right there. And then I'm going to probably put, you know what, I think I'll change it up. This time I'm going to put 2 down to the bottom and start over from there. Yeah, I put 2 down to the bottom. I'm going to go stitch these together again, and I'll be back. One thing I want to mention when you're doing the diagonal like this, you want to make sure that you have a little tail sticking out on either end so that when you unfold it, it makes a straight line. If you line these up, then you're going to have a jig, and you're going to have to trim it off. So always make sure I've got a 1/4 inch seam. So this is a 1/4 inch from here to the edge. So I've got that little tail sticking out there, and then I've got a little tail sticking out on this end too. It's hard to see, but it's there. And that way when you unfold it, it should be straight. It's not going to matter a lot on this one because you can always trim it. They're all random widths anyway. It'll all work out in the end, but you want to try to do that. All right, so here are those first 6 strips that I worked on, in no particular order. When they go together, they're going to go together with the narrower strips and the wider strips, and they're just going to be all mixed up. So this is my first set. I'm going to do the same with the other 3 strip sets I cut from these 6, and then I'm going to do the other 6, and we'll be back in between there.